All right, guys. Tonight we're going to look at an oldie but a goodie, the Mayflower UW chest rig. All right, so Principles of Patrolling over on Instagram, one of the OP Tactical guys, great company by the way. He started his gear Hall of Fame list. So I think item number 1 was the Mayflower rig. Item number 2 was the JPC. So until I run out of those items that he suggests, I'm just going to follow him up with videos. We'll see how long we can keep this going. So let's get this on the table and take a look at it. All right, so looking at really iconic pieces of kit, we've got the Mayflower UW chest rig. Now there's a handful of versions out there. I don't know specifically which one I'm talking about here. But what I do know is that there's a law enforcement variety, which I've got one of those floating around somewhere. I'll probably pull it out and get it on camera at some point. There's the new pusher version, and then potentially a different split front one from the pusher one. I'm not really sure, but I just call this one the UW chest rig. All right. I want to say there's up to 4 true versions of just this rig. But I could be wildly wrong about that. There's also like Molly hybrids where the ends are Molly and then the center is normal. They've now got the placard versions where this is a placard, and then I think they even have one with the whole thing set up as a placard. I get a little bit lost on the Velocity Mayflower different versions, but this is one of the ones when they were still doing Mayflower as its kind of own brand. I think they have since merged, and Mayflower is more or less gone now. But this chest rig, with chest rigs being all the hype right now, we did cool guy plate carriers for a while, and now we're going to chest rigs because Recce's cool, and all sorts of that stuff, right? This is really, in my opinion, the gold standard chest rig. Right? That doesn't mean it's the best chest rig ever made, but I think everything else produced after this existed really needs to be compared to this, unless it's a straight Molly platform, right? The amount of capability that's built in here and capacity and flexibility is really crazy, and it is incredibly affordable for what you get. All right, so no, this is not necessarily what I would put in here at any one point in time. I just grabbed some stuff from the garage to try to give you guys an idea of what could fit and to kind of show the capabilities here. So the general layout is it's a mirrored setup. So right hand, left hand, dominant, it doesn't really matter. You have the same flexibility in here, whichever avenue you need to take. All right, so on the outside, you've got what are really designed to be radio pockets with this Velcro closure. So it's a Velcro shot cord closure on both the front and the back, and that's completely removable. And then there's a flap stored inside the pocket right now. So if you don't have 2 radios or you don't have any radios, you can remove this and you can put in you can undo the flap, and then it'll hold 2 magazines, 2 M4 magazines. So if you're not too radio cool guy, you've still got plenty of flexibility there. You're not locked into just radios. And then over here, I've got a toy Glock with a toy D-ball on here, just to show you the capacity if you're trying to fit a pistol in there, right? I think you could do a pistol without a light in a slim Kydex holster, and there's a grommet in the bottom, so you could secure that and tether it in if you needed to. You may even be able to get a small weapon-mounted light in there. I don't know for sure, though, right? Here's the flap that I was talking about. So there is Velcro in the back face of the pocket there to help secure that flap if you want that inside the pouch so it doesn't get in the way. And then if you do need the flap, right there, it's still got a little pull tab on it. You've got a grommet there if you don't want to risk your closure being done with Velcro. You can tie off your shot cord to the grommet. So that is very well thought out, right? Then you've got these 2 kind of GP pockets on here. I don't know specifically what they're sized for, but I do know that they'll fit 2 40 mics or 2 of the smaller two bangers, right? So it'll fit those with room for the spoon to come out on either side or be tucked into the pocket if you want to make it a little bit easier to withdraw that for yourself. There's no Velcro in here to secure this flap because probably whatever's going in here, you want a flap covering it. That said, you can tuck it in there pretty cleanly and have it folded down if you want. There's a little bit of elastic band on the outside of the magazine pockets here. It's also over here. You could probably finagle a tourniquet in there if you wanted to. I'm not huge on tourniquets with such a thin retention on them. Just I feel like that's a snag hazard waiting to happen. But it's there if you wanted to do that. Right? You could also put anything with a pocket clip there, a small flashlight, or a small folding knife, whatever you wanted. Right? You don't necessarily need to though, because in the middle there's two fairly decent size pistol pouches here. Now they will fit a Glock magazine. This one, however, happens to be a 21 rounder, so the Velcro closure on there is not great. But a Glock 19 or a standard Glock 17 mag should fit in there just fine. Your 15 round Beretta mags, you also shouldn't have any issues with in those pockets, right? And then inboard of each radio pocket, there's also another small tool type pocket. The 21 rounder fits in there just fine, and the flap comes down well enough to cover that. So, you're looking at 4 pistol-ish size pockets on here. Potentially standard capacity military magazines or older standard capacity military magazines, right? If you've got the new Long Boy Sig mags, you're probably going to want these outside pockets. So you've got multi-tool, flashlight, 2 pistol mags or 2 smaller pistol mags, multi-tool flashlight, however you want to set that up, right? Over here you can see I've got a 152 and that's fitting in there just fine. It's a little bit tall on the chest rig, but it'll fit in there fine. Commercial Motorola's or 148s should also fit in there without too much drama. And then an MPU-5, if you've got one of those floating around, will also fit in there just fine. What's nice is the radio is still fairly close to the shoulder strap or the harness there. So if you need to route your antenna or your push to talk or whatever, it's not too far off to run up there. Right? It's not not well around the side of you trying to snake back to the harness. Right? And then the heart of all of this is 4 M4 size cells with pull tabs. Right? So we've got standard metal mag in there that fits just fine, and then a PMag. Wasn't designed for PMags, but a PMag will fit in there fine as well. And if I was wearing that, obviously it would come out easier. If you've got the PMags without the over insertion tab, those will also fit better. Right? Along the bottom, we've got some elastic here as well. So if you had some non-L setups or non-L setups over here, that would work out just fine. And then, obviously if you've got your caps or something like that, maybe you run the cap into here, into one of the shipping containers. You could do a dual cap setup in there just fine with the little plastic tubes. That would work out pretty well. And then obviously your igniters could be exposed, or you could even, if you wanted to, tuck an igniter over here or something like that. All right, so you could run a dual breaching setup pretty easily in there. You'd have non-L here or non-L here, and then cap box or cap retainer in those GP pockets. Right. So yeah, four mag pockets. You've got a map pocket here, or admin pocket, whatever you want to put in there. I wouldn't get squirrely enough to try shoving a plate in there, but you could if that was really something that you wanted to do, and then have a plate cap made for that. I don't know. I've never tried it. I feel like that would be asking a lot for this chest rig, but I could be wrong. Right. Looking at the back side here, you can see where those shock cord retainers Velcro on, and then you've got a small piece of hook in the center here, which I believe this was really forward thinking about how this could be used. I think it was set up to be used as a placard kind of before placards were really a thing. So this is just enough Velcro to secure to the front of your plate carrier, and then not really use a cummerbund, but use the chest rig itself as your cummerbund, right? The harness is also very nicely done, in my opinion. It's folded webbing with some comms routing on it, both on the strap itself and then off to the side, so you could have hydration and antenna, or remote your antenna and clip your push-to-talk on there, however you wanted to do that. And then because it's folded webbing, it's pretty agreeable to taking to a tailor if you wanted to have more comms routing sewn on here. You could really do it at home because this is not overly heavy duty stuff. You could do that on a home machine with a single layer of webbing or a single layer of elastic on there without much drama, right? Side release buckles for the harness. So again, if you wanted to plug this in as a placard, it has the male buckle on it, and I think you could do that without too much drama. And then because Mayflower knows what they're about, it is set up only to be an H harness because H harnesses are superior. Plenty of adjustment on the straps coming off of there, and a little Velcro patch on the back of that so you can put your IFF flag or whatever you need to. Right. You've got your back strap coming off of here. It is an older style, right? So there's no elastic built into that, but that's not a crazy important feature, and it's definitely something that you could add on after the fact if you needed to. Elastic back straps, I will say, are very nice to have some stretch in there if you need it. All right, so that is the Mayflower UW rig. I just want to check real quick. I don't think it says which model that is anywhere in here. I would hate to have it marked on here and not tell you guys, but nope, no indications of which model. So hopefully one of you guys that's a bigger Mayflower nerd than I am knows exactly which one we're looking at here. But there you go, right? Hall of Fame piece of kit. Absolutely agree on that one. These things are still very, very, very good chest rigs at a very affordable price. I believe they're sub $200. If they're not, the used market on these is very healthy. You can get them pretty easily for $150 if you have some patience and are willing to look around a little bit. So there you go, Mayflower chest rig. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Can't wait to see what else makes the Hall of Fame gear list.